cocktail aficionados. It's John Moser with another edition of Cocktails Out of Quarantine. Well, it's been a hot minute since I've done one of these. I've in fact been involved in a community theater production at the Mansfield Playhouse, which hasn't left me with a heck of a lot of time. However, the show had its opening weekend, and now I have a few days in a row where I don't have to go to rehearsal. So this is great. And I'm very excited to be presenting to you the first cocktail that I have developed myself. Wow. There was one before called the Claret Club that I just sort of took a Clover Club and then switched out raspberries for blackberries. And all right, so maybe a little bit developed. But this one I put together from scratch, and I call it the Kentucky Truffle. And Charles Martindale is the one who deserves credit for that name. I put out on Facebook, I've come up with a drink, but it needs a name. I told him what was in it. I'm going to tell you in a minute what's in it. And I, as soon as Charles posted this one, I said, this one is perfect. The Kentucky Truffle. Well, you know that I like to start these videos by talking about the history of the drink, but I don't really have anything to say. I was messing around. People have said for months now, you should invent your own cocktail. Finally, I've done it, and I thought about, of course, what do I like? I like bourbon and rye are top of my list. I went with bourbon for this one. What flavors do I like? I love raspberry and I love chocolate. So, but I don't want it to be too sweet. I don't want this to be a dessert drink. So what I've come up with are, I think, some pretty good ratios for a drink where you get the chocolate, you get the raspberry, but it doesn't cover up the bourbon, and it doesn't taste like dessert. So here's what you're gonna need. First of all, bourbon. I've got my trusty Woodford Reserve here. Very nice drink, very nice bourbon, as anyone who's had it knows. By the way, it's also got probably the best bourbon tour that I've ever been on. And then here's what's going to provide the raspberry. This is called framboise. There are several different kinds of raspberry liqueurs out there. The more famous one, and certainly the easier to get around here, that is Ashland, Ohio, is Chambord. I'm not using Chambord because Chambord has a slightly different flavor profile. It's more syrupy. It's also much sweeter than framboise. Framboise it's very much pure raspberry, but you get more tart than sweet. So I've chosen to use that, and then I'm going to use a little bit of simple syrup. If you're going to use Chambord, don't use the simple syrup because the Chambord is plenty sweet as it is. The framboise is less so. I'm just going to use a tiny bit of this. I almost went to buy a bottle, and I thought, it's so easy to make simple syrup. There's no reason in the world why I should be buying it. So I mixed up a batch just today. It took 10 minutes. And then bitters, chocolate bitters. There are a lot of different types of chocolate bitters out there. I really like Woodford Reserve, by the way, makes some nice chocolate bitters. This is by Scrappy's. I also think very highly of this type of bitters. And again, it's going to impart the chocolate flavor without being sickeningly sweet. Finally, I'm going to garnish it with a couple of raspberries. So that's what you need. Let's make the drink. And here we go. We start with a mixing glass with ice. And we are going to dump in there 2 ounces of this delightful Woodford Reserve bourbon. We are going to add to that a 1/2 ounce of framboise. Now, simple syrup. I wouldn't advise any more than about a bar spoon, and I'm not going to try to dump it onto the spoon over this because I really don't want to get too much and make it just taste sickeningly sweet. So I'm going to pour that here. All right, this is a good amount of simple syrup. By the way, this is a 2-to-1 blend. It's a rich syrup. It's 2 parts demerara sugar to 1 part water. Simply mixed it together over a stove and almost brought it to boiling. And that's all it takes to make simple syrup. It's so easy. And then finally, I'm going to add some bitters, and I love bitters, so I'm getting, I think, 3 good dashes is probably sufficient there. And now we stir. And now we pour. Nothing really to strain on this. It is nice and clear. Now my garnish. Here are the raspberries. Oh, they just look beautiful. They must really be in season wherever these things are grown. Sure not around here this time of year. Oh, they're big, plump, and juicy. I'm gonna spear one, spear two, and place it right. Ah! Oh, maybe I'm not gonna place it across. I'm gonna rest it here. So, wowee! Here is the Kentucky Truffle. Thank you again, Charles Martindale, for the name. Let me have a taste. Oh, wow, smells great. Delicious, delicious. I like this drink. I am proud of it. This is my first homemade drink, and I hope you'll give it a try yourselves. So I hope you're having a great day wherever you are. Until next time, cheers.